Hi again. It was a very busy week with the election, but also on a more serious note, we had the murders on the north side of Dublin, which have absolutely devastated communities. I was around my constituency for the last few days, and it's very, very sad, and people are looking for a response to it in relation to these horrific murders, young men killing each other, the whole issue of drugs and crime and whole communities being intimidated. It's a major issue. So just to let people know that I've been raising it in Cabinet behind the scenes and also getting a response as well. I also talked to Minister Charlie Finian about this particular issue, and just to say that Charlie and myself will be visiting Darndale on next Tuesday, and we'll be talking to people and meet with people on the ground, and just to show our support and solidarity. But the sad thing that young people are dying in the streets of Dublin, and it's very, very serious, and we have to respond in a constructive policing way, but also to deal with the social issues as well, particularly the drugs crisis that we have at the moment. The other important issue this morning, had a beautiful morning up in Coláiste Dhúlaigh in Coolock, and for the end of term celebrations for lots of the students. Fantastic ability there, great writers, great musicians, fantastic guitar playing, great singers, and a lot of talent there as well. And I think there's the wonderful side and the positive side of the people of Coolock and Darndale in relation to what's going on in many communities that's often ignored by many people. After I did the event in Coláiste Dhúlaigh, I then came into the Dáil, and I did a one-day conference in the Dáil with the Independent Living Movement, who are a group of disabled people who were advocating for themselves and for rights. And the whole debate this morning was on the whole issue of personal assistance, which is basically the people who help people particularly with physical disabilities. And I am pushing and developing those personal assistance hours for those people. They are the legs and the arms of people with a physical disability, but they're also the personal assistants are the glue to many families. They keep families going, they support families, and they also, more importantly for me, is to give the person with the disability more independence and more control over their life. So I think that's a very important thing, and that's something that I'll be sitting down in preparation for the budget to develop these personal assistance hours. At the moment in 2019, we have 1.63 million hours being distributed to people in personal assistance hours, which is very important. But of course, I'm looking at that in relation to giving more independence to people with disabilities, but also in line with the UN Convention for the Rights of People with Disabilities. Another important thing that came up as well during the elections with Councillor Damien Farrell is the whole issue of climate change. That's something that we're all working for very strongly. Damien had a strong message during the local elections on that as well, and we're working with all members of the Oireachtas that are interested in the climate change emergency. But the most important thing is to implement the proposals around the table. Just as also let you know that there will be a number of climate change meetings going on in government over the next couple of weeks, but I'll come back to you on the details of those. And we're also expecting the Minister's report on these issues as well. So we need to see some concrete examples coming out in the next couple of weeks, and you're going to see that happen because we have to respond, and it's a very important issue. The people have given a message, and we're listening to that message, which is very, very important. So once again, I'll get back to you again later on.